What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, we finally got our hands on the 2025 Air Jordan 1 High 85 Banned Breds. So I actually purchased this shoe off of StockX a couple weeks ago, and it finally arrived. So in this video, we're just going to take a deep dive into it, up close and personal shots of the shoe, go over the quality of it, and give you my overall opinions of it. Please stay tuned to the channel because we will have more content on this shoe. We will be doing some comparison videos with some older GR Jordan 1 High 85s and also some custom handmade High 85s. And since it is release week, it's go time, guys. So what we're going to do to switch this video up a little bit, we're going to take a look at the secondary market, see what these shoes are going for right now, and give you my honest opinion if it's time to pull the trigger or to hold off. I'm still waiting on 11.5 to come in, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at this size 12. Let's get into the video. Here's a quick look at the box. Comes in your black standard Nike box with that fire red Nike branding on the outside. And taking a quick look at the sizing tag, it reads Air Jordan 1 High 85. Colorway is black, varsity red, white. And of course, we picked this up in a size 12. And again, I also have a size 11.5 that's on the way. And here's a quick look underneath the lid of the box. Has your Nike stamp inside. And they do come double papered. You have this top layer, and you also have this underneath layer. And here you have it, guys. The 2025 Air Jordan 1 High 85 Banned Bred. Give you a quick 360 of the shoe, and then we're going to jump right in to all the details. Here's a look at the lateral side of the shoe. It also comes with this retro Skyline Jumpman card. Give you a better shot at that lateral side. Really love the shape of the shoe. I think Nike brand did an excellent job with the shape and molding of the shoe. As we move into the medial side of the shoe and moving into the rear of the shoe. And here's a quick look at the outsole. Give you a quick look at the shape of this toe box. One of my favorite parts on this shoe. Very nicely shaped. Here's a quick overhead shot of the shoe moving up the tongue. And here's a quick look at the retro card. Feel free to pause. And here's a better shot of that toe box. I love the slant on it. And also we have a closer shot at the midsole. I think they actually took the original 1985 and 3D printed the midsole and basically made it like a one-for-one copy of it. Very well defined. All right, guys, so here you have it, the Bred 85. This shoe has been all the rage for the last, I would say, 3 weeks to a month. This is all you've been hearing on social media, on YouTube, is this shoe. Again, we finally into the official release week. Some of the tier 0 stores that was on the 23 store list actually released this past Friday and Saturday. I'm really curious to know if they're gonna release any online, because most of these stores seem to be in-store only. So if that's the case, it might very well be a lot of pairs already out in the wild. And the secondary market is probably going to be your best bet. And we will get into some of those logistics here shortly and go over the pricing that these shoes are going for currently and give you my estimation if this shoe will actually go down or go up in value. We'll get into that real shortly. But getting into this shoe, first impressions of this shoe. Excellent craftsmanship. Really love the shape of it. And if you're pretty familiar with Air Jordan 1 High 85s, upon seeing this shoe, you will immediately know that this one is different in shape. And most of that is going to be in the toe box shape. And it's also going to be in the height of the collar. And it's also going to be in the rear shape of the shoe. When official images started to surface on this shoe, a lot of people was kind of skeptical of the height of the rear of the shoe. Some people were saying that it kind of looked like a mid, but I can verify that seeing these in person, it's not mistaken as a mid. It's a high top Air Jordan 1. I think what really throws off the perception of the height is the actual cut around the ankle collar. As you see in the rear of the shoe, the thickness of the ankle collar normally on Air Jordan 1s is a lot taller. On this High 85, they shortened the height on it and pinched it down closer. That gives off the illusion that it's somewhat looks shorter, and that's what I think is throwing off the perception of the height of the shoe. But again, it looks like your standard Air Jordan 1 highs, so no worries on that. So let's go ahead and jump into the elephant in the room, and that has to deal with the leather used on this shoe. As most of you know, High 85s normally have like a thicker, smoother leather cut to them. A lot of people don't care for it. Some think it's plasticky looking. It's just too stiff. This is a big ongoing debate in the sneaker community. has to deal with the leather cut. Me, I'm pretty biased towards the 1985. I actually love the cut of leather on the high 85s. As most of us know, this shoe needs to be broken in. Multiple wears, get it broken in, and the leather should age great with time. So that's my hope. And to repeat what Nike said on this actual leather cut is that it is the best leather quality that's ever been used on an Air Jordan 1. So I know a lot of you guys love the tumbled leather, and I do as well. But that is straight out of Nike's mouth. That this cut of leather on this high 85 is the best quality ever used on an Air Jordan 1. So that's what I'm going to roll with. It all comes down to personal preference. If you think tumbled leather is the best, hey, I'm all for it. But again, I'm biased towards this cut of leather. And I think Nike did an excellent job on this one. I love the overall look of it. Really love the oversized Nike swoosh. I think this is the only different leather is a full synthetic versus the other panels on this shoe is a full grain leather. And even though I got these Travis Scott gloves on, I can't confirm that the leather on this one, to me, in my opinion, it feels like all the other standard Air Jordan high 85s. In my opinion, even though Nike said that this is a thicker cut, it feels the same as my other high 85s. From the smooth finish of it to the tightness of the shoe, it feels standard. But I did want to give you a shot at the cut of leather. As you can see, going up the eyelet section, the thickness of it. Hopefully that's showing up for you. Here's a look at the ankle collar section. Very nice cut of leather. Wanted to jump into the rear of the shoe, give you a shot at the shape of the outsole. As you can see, it angles in almost like a triangle V shape. That's different from your standard 85s. Here's probably a better shot at it. As you can see, that midsole, it angles down into a V shape. That's different on these high 85s. And I just overall love the midsole patterns. I think Nike stated that the original 1985s, these little pebbles on the midsole was actually hand carved back in 1985. That's crazy work. Just to think that each one of these details was hand carved into the shoe. And again, as I stated earlier in the video, that they actually took an original 1985 and just 3D printed the midsole to get this actual finished product. So I think that's pretty dope that they did that. And even though the heel has that angle cut on it, you still have pretty much your standard 1985 outsole. That's normally going to be a tighter heel cup section of the outsole. That's still the same. And these shoes do come pre-laced with black and red laces. Here's a look at the tongue with the Nike Air tongue tab. It gives like that retro 1985 look to the Nike Air. And guys, in the upcoming videos, we're going to take a look at these shoes versus my other older GR 1985s. And we'll jump into the details of stuff like this tongue tab. And you'll see the difference between this shoe versus those shoes, because this, I can confirm that this Nike Air is more on that vintage retro Nike Air versus the newer 85s. But we will get into those differences in those upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that. Here's a look at the sizing tag and the code. It says a size 12. This is how your laces will come laced, and they do come with your paper shoe tree. Here's a look at your insole. I really love this insole. It also has that retro feel to it, as the materials used on it is almost like a terry cloth. See if I can get a closer shot. Pretty sure this is like a retro type of material used with that terry cloth, but it does have that varsity red Nike Air branding in it. And I think the Nike Air is like screen printed somewhat into the insole. It's not just standard stickers that flake off, I believe. Here's a look at your Asian characters on the bottom of the insole. It also has like the size 11.5 to 12.5. Here's a look at the exploded view of it. All right, guys, so here's a look at my right shoe. Quick shot of that toe box. Really love the shape of the rear of the shoe. Have that hourglass shape. Lacing these things up should pull it in a little bit, make it much nice and tighter. That's how I'm gonna rock mine anyway. I think the execution on this shoe is excellent. Nike did a good job. With this pair, at least, we will be taking a look at my other pair that's coming in. I think this pair came out flawless. I'm very pleased with it. And guys, do I think it's worth the $250 retail price? Did Nike do enough to warrant that $35 increase from your standard GR 85s? I think they came at $215 standard ones. So that's a $35 increase. Is that warranted? As I stated, the leathers are pretty similar, maybe a touch different to the touch. And I'll just have to take Nike's word for this being the best quality leather that they used on Air Jordan 1. As far as the tooling to the shoe, you can immediately see that this shoe is shaped different from the toe box to the midsole to the ankle collar area. Also to the shape of the heel. You can tell that this cup sole is different from this shape alone. And it just looks different from the overall shape going up the shoe. I would say $225. Knock 25 off that $250. Perfect. You went up $10 over to $215. The $225, I think that's a perfect spot. And as I stated early in the video, I did pick this pair up early a couple weeks ago. So I did have to pay a premium that I was willing to pay for to get these shoes. And it wasn't really about getting the shoe early. It was more about actually securing the shoe, with it only being supposedly limited to 10,000 pairs. That number seems to fluctuate as the days go by. So I'll say from 10 to 23,000 pairs. I just really wanted to secure my pair. And guys, if you stayed this long, I might as well go ahead and tell you the story. I did pick these up on StockX at a premium price, but nothing too outlandish, like over $1,000. Nah, that didn't happen. But I actually had this size 12. I was bidding on this shoe. I don't know what I was thinking. I actually jumped in and bid it for a size 11.5. I also bid it for a 12.5. And what my hopes was just to give me a better odds of winning a pair. And I pretty much had my bids set up all somewhat similar in price, especially between the 12 and 11.5 pair. The 12.5 pair actually only had a couple sellers at the time, so I had that bid real low. So that one really didn't have a chance of hitting from what the sellers was wanting, $1,300, I believe. I wasn't nowhere close to that bidding price. So back to the 12 and 11.5. Watched those bids for like 3 days. And I swear some of those sellers on StockX and GOAT, I think they actually do like a pump, kind of like crypto when you pump and dump, rug pull. I think a lot of those sellers actually run up the bid. They bid on their own shoes just to run the bid up. It was kind of obvious. After watching it over a week, I kind of started getting the rhythm of it. Basically what happened, I kept seeing this fluctuate. Some would sell, some would pump up the price and then they'll back out. That's why I was thinking it was probably the sellers. So one seller came in at this ridiculous price that wasn't nowhere close to any of the other bidders. So I see a lot of buyers, they're up there, bidding price. In turn, the seller would knock it down $1. While the buyer's jumping it up $10 at a click. The seller ain't dropping it but $1. Come on, guy. Work with me. So I got to a point that he just kept doing his $1 increments. So instead of me bidding up, I actually bid it down. And I'm talking hundreds. I dropped a couple hundred just to let him know, hey, you're not gonna nickel or dime me, guy. So long story short, somebody grabbed my bid on a size 12. And right when my size 12 order was confirmed, my 11.5 hit at the same time. I think it was the actual same seller that was selling in bulk. He just went ahead and knocked those out. Because after my pairs hit, it was like the floodgates open. And there was like 6 or 7 more people right after that. It's like he took all the bids. He just sold. It's like sell. So that's how I ended up getting that double up. StockX got a crazy no cancel policy. So I couldn't cancel one. So yeah, came in it, only won one pair, took that double hit. And you know what? No regrets at all. I just love this shoe that much. And if you're pretty familiar with the channel, most of you already know I love Jordan 1 high 85s. They're my favorite silhouette of the shoe. And this 2025 Bred, it was my main pickup of this year. And this is the one I wanted the most of any shoe that's dropping in 2025. So no regrets on picking this 2 up, even with the price that I paid. Wish I could have got them for retail, but I jumped in a little too early. So with that being said, so let's go ahead and talk about this shoe and what it's doing in the secondary aftermarket. And if you should wait, I'll go ahead and pull the trigger like I did. Okay, so we're 4 days prior to release upon recording this video. Right now, size 12 is going for $494. So looking at the sales starting today at 6:59 a.m. Eastern time. That was the last sale for 500. Everything else kind of started going under the 400. We had a 511 thrown in there, but most of it is under 500. This shoe has came down. I remember when early on it was going over 1,000. So I kind of got in there and I came along after that. So taking a look at the open bids, we have a 475 at the top, and moving down the chart, you can see you have 8 buyers at $400. So that's looking like one of the sweet spots that a lot of buyers are wanting to hang around that $400 mark. And taking a look at the asking price, as I stated up top, $494. Then we're moving down into a lot of the 500s. So guys, what do I think this shoe is going to do in the next couple of days? So first and foremost, I will say shout out to you guys that hung in there even when the shoe was up over $1,000. And you held out all the way up to close to release date. Even if you pull the trigger today or tomorrow, hey, you held out, man. So shout out to y'all guys that held out, that still want the shoe. I can't say that it paid off for you to wait and hold out. You might still have to pay a little over, but it's way better than what it was a couple weeks ago, trust me. So I think what really changed the market, why it's going down under 500, was the pairs that got released this past weekend, Friday, February the 8th and the 9th. That Friday and Saturday. I think that release kind of injected some pairs into the market and more competition to drive the price down. Because a lot of those guys early on, some even still, if you scroll down the asking price, some are still holding over $8,000, $1,300. They holding out in hopes of it being a limited release that the price will creep back up. And I think it probably actually will start to creep back up. I'm not sure if it'll get to 1,000, but those shoes that was injected into the market, that made that cost go down. So I'm curious to know how many more pairs are left that's releasing this upcoming Friday. Is it a lot of quantity left that can even drive the price down more? Or have we reached a point that most of the stock out there has already been depleted and loaded into the market? That's the great question. I think there's still room for it to go down from $494 for this size 12. I can really see it getting down to like $425. And I would really be surprised if it got under 400, like say 350. I would really be surprised with it only going 100 over. But hey, anything's possible. So let's just buffer it a little bit and say 375 to 425. Are you willing to pull the trigger at those prices? 425, taxes and fees, you can tack on 100, 120. You're looking at almost 550 for this shoe. And I will never tell you how to spend your money. Not a financial advisor, so I want to throw that disclaimer out there. I can only give you an example that I've made in the past. Take the Georgetown High 85s. That shoe, really loved it, wanted it. I think I purchased that for just under 500. So that should give you an idea of what I would pay for this shoe easily. So yeah, my predictions on this shoe between, I would say 375 to 450. I think it might hover around this spot. And that's just me guessing on it. And if I also had to guess what I see this shoe rising in value to over the months to a year, if it did hold at around 400, 450, this shoe possibly can rise up to like 550 to 600. And that's just a guess. So, and again, it all comes down to this official release date this upcoming Friday, and just if any more pairs are injected into the market. That's going to really give us the data that we need. So if you really don't want this shoe and need it right away, possibly hold out for a week or two just to kind of watch how the market goes on this shoe. That's if you're not ready to pull the trigger on it at the current prices. I think in the next 2 days, you're going to see maybe a couple more resellers try to undercut each other and drive that price down slightly, even more or less. But I don't think it's going to go too far before the release date. And most of us know there's FOMO in buyers. But you know what? There's also FOMO in sellers as well. Some of these sellers, the closer it gets to that launch date, to release date, those sellers also get that fear of missing out on that profit. So they start undercutting each other. And that's what we've been seeing in the last, I say, week and a half. These prices starting to kind of plummet down lower. That's all from fear of missing out on getting any kind of profit. So we're probably going to continue to see that happening in the next 2 to 3 days. And after the smoke clears, it should hold steady. And we'll continue to check the market and go for there. But yeah, guys, that's what I had for you today. Just wanted to come through and give you my opinions on this 2025 pair of Air Jordan 1 High 85 Banned Breds. I know if people been going crazy for this shoe. Just want to give you my opinions on the quality of it. Excellent quality, excellent execution from Nike's part. I will give them a shout out for that. I think the reshaping and the remolding of this shoe is awesome, man. But yeah, guys, if you're going for this shoe, again, I'm not sure how the release is going to happen this upcoming Friday. Like I stated earlier, a lot of stores from that 23 store list was actually doing in-store pickups on that shoe. I didn't see any of them really that had like an online release. So I'm not sure this coming Friday will any of them, have like a where you can purchase online to ship to your door. Not sure if that's going to happen. I think the whole vibe of it was Nike wanted that white glove experience for you, the consumer, to pick up in store and get that white glove experience to go with this 40th anniversary High 85 Jordan. So I would say if you are indeed going to be in store trying to cop the shoe this upcoming Friday, wish you all the best for you to get them for retail. I think if you do get them for retail, you will be satisfied with this shoe. Even if you have to go to secondary market, I think you still will be satisfied with this shoe. Stay tuned to the channel. More shoes to come. We're going to put this one up against some more 85s, some custom handmade 85s I have, just to see if Nike really stepped their game up against some of the competitors and just get an overall look at the shoe and how it stacks up. But yeah, more content on the way. We're going to take a look at these Cactus Field Jacks. Working on that video right now. Should be up shortly. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned to the channel. Till the next time. Peace.